So Jeremy Hecht the other day came into my comments section. You guys saw the comment, obviously, 183 likes, and said, thanks for reacting to our clip, which, we put that video out the other day. We're reacting to Up Rocks in the Bigger Picture talking the poetic justice theory. And he said, you'll definitely want to tune into our episode Wednesday night, which was last night at 6 p.m., because we got Glasses on the phone, and there is some very interesting information revealed. And those guys over there at that show did not disappoint. I got the Glasses Malone clip. I'm going to let it run, and we're all just going to go on the ride together because it's pretty cool.
Last week, I think I was trying to hit you because I was trying to not give up the story to get the story. Remember when I was telling you? I was telling you to do a record with him.
Yeah,
I didn't want to speak out of turn,
and that's what happened. So last week, DJ Hed during the segment called, which is now obvious, he called Glasses Malone to get permission to talk about Glasses Malone not wanting to do a record with Drake. So they pick up right from that moment. And Hed and Hecht and Elliott Wilson are men of their word because they got Glasses on the phone, and this is pretty cool.
When I was telling you, I was telling you to do a record with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't want to speak out of turn, but if you want to chime in on that.
So there was a time where, again, like,
that's a journalist.
The thing about a Drake or a Kendrick Lamar, like, when I first got in this business, I was just genuinely the culture.
Mm-hmm.
I had not studied years and years of being a rapper or making records. To both of those two artists' credit, they studied making records. Like, they're both students of the art itself. I'm a product of the culture itself. They're students of the art, and that is obviously a product of the culture. So I've always been really supportive of them. The first time I heard them play Drake music, I was just like blown away because the person that was talking and the music that was playing, it was like you could just see was a monster when it came to making records before I knew what a record.
And I don't think anybody has ever doubted Drake's ability to make hit records. What we have discussed here on this channel at nauseum almost is the fact that he keeps trying to cosplay something that he isn't. So I like that Glasses Malone is talking about that there.
It was. So at that time, they're trying to help every artist at Cash Money. Like, Birdman takes a lot of slack, but he was trying his best to make it all work.
That's a fact.
Right, because what are these artists to these labels? They are investments. Of course, they're not going to want their artists to not succeed because that means it's a waste of money and they're not going to recoup their investment. It's just like playing the stock market. Only they're playing with people and their art.
Did right by me.
That's a fact.
And as they were pushing the opportunity to work with him, the records that were being presented seem a little bit more tough than necessarily like fitting of me. And at that time, I'm looking like, how are you going to make it tough? I'm making the toughest records in the world. I got Crip Gang, I go shoot.
I will say that. I kind of did a small deep dive into Glasses Malone. When he says he's the product of the culture, that dude is not lying. Some of his records are very tough.
In Brooklyn.
So the idea that they're trying to pair Glasses Malone with Drake, I could see why Glasses would be like, I don't know about that.
With 500 Crips, you could just see exactly how street I was. I got a song called I Sell Dope. Like, I'm making the hardest songs. All of these songs are hard, and him presenting me hard songs didn't feel like it would fit. So as the opportunity...
Maybe because Drake isn't a hard rapper. Maybe because he's a pop star. Could that be the reason?
He kept being presented. The ideas just never seemed to fit, and I was pressured by Hed and Pun. Like, man, you need to just keep building with dude. I'm like, it would have to be the right song, and just really, any song wasn't going to be enough, and Hed just didn't understand it at that.
Because why am I going to do a hard record with you if you yourself are not hard? That's you faking it. That's not being authentic to who you are and your perspective as a human being. I get that. I rock with that 100%.
I did not.
Wait, so
Mr. Drake was disappointed.
wait,
Aaron Drake.
So the songs you were said that were presented were on the harder side in the sense of like they were trying to be street records with you and Drake together that they were presenting?
Yes, and I'm like, how does that look, you know what I mean, with us? Like, people forget one of Drake's biggest early freestyles is over Certified. Like, you know what I mean? This is not somebody that I haven't championed and, went to bat for. wanted the best for her. You know, no different than my little homeboy Dot. So it's like, you know, to be here now, you know what I'm saying, is just hilarious. But,
And
you know,
and I might add, and G not gonna say this, but I might add, there was a situation too where G was willing to like go there with, you know, with about him too, because he's like, he with us. He was like, if he with us, nigga, he with us.
And that's a real story. Like I really felt protective over that dude because he was a part of the family. But, you know, again,
I respect the hell out of that. I get that. 100%.
And you got Dot is my friend. Like this don't got nothing to do with no music. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
I'm a ride with home team every day. And I mean, of course it's gonna be fucked up, but shit, that's just how it go.
Wait.
So fast forward, here we are back to this thing. It's like that was his moment. Like, yeah, I got you niggas. Let me be a smart ass. And it's like, you still lost, nigga.
Yeah.
Wait, so the last thing on that, because there was a big because there was a big debate last week about this online. So there was that whole like theory of when people actually knew Drake had any writers.
Our theory.
We kind of didn't say it for sure last time, but at that time, were there rumblings that you knew of within the Cash Money crew that you knew he had people working with him, or it wasn't till later that you had heard those rumors?
The first person that brought it to my attention, and I don't know if this right to snitch on him, is Dot.
Yes! Of course he brought it to your attention because he was one of his ghostwriters. Oh my God. We're so right. Yes. Yes, Jeremy Hecht. Yes, DJ Hed. Yes, Elliott Wilson. Yes, Glasses Malone. Let's fucking go.
Is the first person that brought it to my attention. But I'll be honest.
And that was back before King Kunta dropped, before 2015. Kendrick Lamar was the first person to bring it to Glasses Malone attention that Drake used ghostwriters. Because Kendrick Lamar was Drake's ghostwriter. And he got him to diss himself on Poetic Justice.
When he first
West
came, it was always, we knew it was a pop approach from a pop artist. He was introduced kind of as this Nickelodeon kind of kid to the people at the label.
And it should be noted that at one point in our original decoding video, and I'll get to some of the clips in a second, but Dez compares Drake to to Selena Gomez. Just a childhood actor transitioning to music because the name is loud and they can make a lot of money off of it. That's all it is.
And, you know, talking to him, he was a well-mannered dude. But when they pressed play, you could just tell he was like a savant when it came to making records. Like, it was just nice.
Yeah.
So now that I understand what's happening, like, that would make sense. You know what I mean? Especially a lot earlier than we think. You know what I mean?
Was that 2011?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's around then. But I don't think we would have had rumbles about it because we kind of always knew that he was a pop artist. You know what I mean? Like, not.
Yes. They all knew that he was a pop artist. But you know what? What happened? The industry started pushing him as this hard rapper. They were curating an image to make money off of that guy and off of that image. That's what it always comes back to with Kendrick. Real and fake. Discerning the difference between the two.
Like, he's a rapper, but he was a pop artist. His approach was an assembly line of how he made music that fit. Like, and he had a bunch of, you know, he had a great team. 40 was fantastic. Boy, he wanted a T-minus. Them dudes were like fantastic. He walked in.
No one's ever denounced his ability to make a hit record. What people are upset with is you trying to cosplay this image, this hardcore image that you are not hardcore. You're not. You are a Canadian actor playing an American rapper. And you are a pop star. Just be in your lane. And it wouldn't be an issue. It wouldn't be a problem. But no, you wanted to keep going. The industry kept pushing you into this lane. Why? We can speculate. I have a whole part 3 on decoding where I speculate as to why. But yeah, Glasses Malone is fucking preaching right now. I love it.
And with this team, like, he had a plan and he executed and his plan worked.
Yep.
But you knew that.
He had a team. They had a plan. They executed the plan and it worked. The only thing they fucked up was letting Kendrick Lamar get the best of him on Good Kid, Mad City. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this discussion right now.
Do you think Kendrick, when he said that to you, was he disappointed? Like, because basically, like, I've been studying this whole, like, was Kendrick disappointed?
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Of course.
I called the nigga a liar.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
I didn't quite understand what pop meant, like what pop was. Like, now I'm like, God damn it. You know what I mean? It make perfect sense. But when he first said that, I was like, hell no, man. I'm watching this dude do his thing. Like, you know, at that time, I'm still just kind of looking at him like somebody else at the label. You know what I mean? Like, shit, Tiger writing his own shit, Nick writing her own shit. Like, I'm thinking Cuz doing the same. And when Dot said it, remember, then I heard King Kunta. So I'm like, this is about Cuz. So when it came out, you know what I'm saying? When it came out publicly, like when Meek kind of leaked it.
Of course, King Kunta is about Drake. Of course it is. A rapper with a ghostwriter? What the fuck happened? I swore I wouldn't tell. But most of y'all share bars like you got the bottom bunk in a 2-man cell. He speaks on it. Just in code. Because he's under an NDA. Because the industry got involved to protect their investment into their pop star that they were trying to pass off as a hardcore rapper. To alter your perception of what the art form is.
And then I start asking around like all the back channel. I was like, oh, hell. You know what I mean? Which I didn't really take credit from him because, you know, I always kind of thought of him as like a pop artist. Like, you know, that's like being upset that you discover Madonna don't write her own song.
I thought of it more like, yay. Like, I looked at it like,
I think Kendrick was probably upset because he was looking at Drake as his competition, which he said at that time. And he's like, I want to be the best rapper of my generation, which you are right now, because Drake was in that spot. I think he was like, damn, this is who they're looking at like that. When I'm
Yes, Jeremy Hecht. Yes, you're getting it. It comes back to the Spin article. Jeremy Hecht is nailing it. We just talked about it in the last video. Here it is. Right here. Is it ever okay for a rapper to have a ghostwriter? You've obviously written verses for Dr. Dre yourself. It depends on what arena you're putting yourself in. I call myself the best rapper. I cannot call myself the best rapper if I have a ghostwriter. That is Kendrick Lamar, blunt as fuck, about rappers with ghostwriters. You can do that and make music, but call yourself what you are. You are a pop star. You are not a hip hop artist. It's so easy. But Drake and his team can't help themselves because they are so invested. They are so deep in this man, into curating this image. They have no choice but to try and tunnel their way through this pit that they have found themselves in. So Dez pulled these clips, and I think that they are very important because it lines up with what Glasses Malone is saying in that previous clip. This is from our original decoding video back in 2021.
Imagining myself as Kendrick in this situation.
Being in his shoes.
Yeah, in his shoes, seeing all of these highly regarded rappers, and you're touring with, you get to know them pretty well.
Oh, yeah.
And to see Drake.
You're sleeping with these guys, 7 nights a week. Maybe not like on the same bus, but like you're
Pause. Good Lord. Sorry about that. Let's continue.
moving from city to city with one another.
Yeah, and then you have Drake, who's from Toronto.
Yeah,
He's
not from the upbringing that Kendrick had.
Actor to rapper, but rapper is, he's not a rapper, he's a performer, let's be honest. He purchased his career.
Yes, he did.
So he's not, he has no pride in it. He has nothing to say. And here's Kendrick with everything to say, but
With
no
this
audience.
Powerful message.
Powerful message, no audience. So he's seeing, okay, this is a game and I have to play the game.
Desiree Rose, nail on the goddamn head. Where have we seen the game on display? He's been telling you in code. We are so right. It is ridiculous.
I have to figure out a way to pimp Drake into helping me launch myself into this next.
Yeah.
Because it was a trade. The industry got involved and it was a trade. Drake needed access to that culture that Glasses Malone speaks on. And Kendrick Lamar needed access to the industry. It was a trade. But they overplayed. They underestimated their opponent. They didn't know how talented and how stuck together TDE was with Kendrick Lamar. They underestimated every single one of them.
Echelon of rappers. Because like we said, his first album, Section 80, had only sold 9,000 copies.
Yeah. This whole time he's trying to continue on with Pac's message, but if he doesn't have an audience, then
he's not going to be able to communicate the message in the first place.
And back in the 90s when Pac came up, he was different. They were different because what they were saying, nobody else was saying, and they were making people pay attention. But now, everyone's desensitized to it to a point where it's like, okay, yeah, we've heard that before, or you like Pac, we get it, whatever. Not really listening to what Kendrick has to say. So now he has to code everything so that he can be playable, because the radios won't play him.
The radio will not play him.
So he has to play the game.
Because the radio stations would rather play something with a hot beat and a catchy hook.
They would.
And something with a message of go party, go out and, spend your money.
Perpetuate the stereotypes, keep them distracted, keeps them down.
Yes.
Yep. God damn, Rose. My fiance is smart as a whip. Here's another one where we're talking openly about who Drake is. Again, keep in mind what Glasses Malone just said about Drake.
He came from a broken home.
He came from fucking Degrassi.
Yeah, he came up from Degrassi. He was
life is tough in Degrassi.
Yeah, he was industrialized at an early age. Or is it industrialized? I don't know.
Glasses Malone said he's Nickelodeon. I can't do hard records with some dude from Nickelodeon. How would that look?
He was indoctrined. We can say
he was indoctrined into this fucking this.
He is the poster child for white approved rap, and we talked about that.
Yes,
he is the poster child for it.
It's the truth. He is the poster child for white approved rap, and I think where we're gonna go with this channel moving forward is, we're gonna keep talking about poetic justice, obviously, but we got to start shifting the narrative. We got to start having conversations about shifting the way that we talk about these two. Because everything that is coming out in these last three to 4 weeks is pointing to us being right. It's pointing to, hey, it wasn't just, 2015 came along and Drake had ghostwriters. No, it was from day one. And I think we need to start asking the tougher questions of why. Why was this allowed to go on for so long? Why are they allowed to have NDAs? And why is the industry getting involved and fucking up these artists' art? It's going to be tough questions and tough conversations, but that's where we're at with this. Because everything is pointing to Kendrick Lamar was Drake's ghostwriter on more than one occasion. And that Kendrick Lamar got Drake to diss himself on the song Poetic Justice. Everything is pointing to that. I got one more clip for you guys before I get out of here for today. Again, it's from our original decoding video. You guys can go back and watch it. Decoding Drake and Kendrick Part 1. I think this clip is pretty damn cool for some very odd reasons.
This is
a huge diss.
This is the biggest diss in hip hop history, and no one has ever fucking anything I've seen online. No one has discovered this.
And I think it's because it precedes everyone finding out that Drake doesn't write his own shit.
Yes, it does. And no one goes back to read this.
Yeah,
right?
so then poetic justice takes on a new meaning.
Yes.
Because it's like he has now gotten Drake to say, I will never right my wrongs unless I write them down for real. He does not write his own stuff.
No.
He will never write his wrongs because he can never admit that he does not write his lyrics.
Yes.
Because
that would cause the image to crumble.
facade will then be exposed.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that is poetic justice.
It
Again,
is.
another layer of poetic justice.
And it's so fitting, too, that he would name that song that, because what does it do? It pays homage to Tupac, his idol.
I pay my homage and I always mind my business. You know, I see comments all the time. You know, you guys are prophetic. You guys are, how did you guys know this? You guys sound like time travelers. We're not prophetic. We're getting the messaging from these lyrics. We're getting the real story from the timeline. That's why I tell people all the time, especially people on the other side of the argument, stick to the lyrics and stick to the timeline, because it will tell you the actual story of what's going on. And also, if you find a couple of clips from Glasses Malone that give you some breadcrumbs too, that'll help. But it's stick to the lyrics and stick to the timeline for a reason. It's because it tells you the real story. And it's 100% the truth. Glasses Malone confirms it. Look at this. Here's the timeline. He says back in 2011 or 2012 is when Kendrick told him that Drake had ghostwriters. Look at that. That's Buried Alive. That's the Club Paradise tour. It confirms the theory. Well, a big chunk of the theory, which is that he had ghostwriters pre-2015. We're right. We're right on the money. I don't know what else to say. We're right. It's crazy. I can't believe it's been 5 years and it's just now coming out since we made, our original decoding video. But I also think about how it's been 13 years for Kendrick Lamar. 13 years. The industry had gotten involved and told you how to perceive his art. And you wonder why Kendrick's putting belt to ass this way. Quit fucking with the dude's art. Why are they allowed to mess with the art in the first place? Those are going to be the conversations that we have on this channel moving forward, I think. I think it's the logical next step. We're obviously going to keep talking poetic justice. I see you guys wanting more breakdowns. I promise we're going to try and get to them. But that's where I want to sit in a room. I would love to sit in a room with Hed and with Jeremy and with Elliott and talk about this, because it is a conversation worth having. If our theory is correct, why are we just now getting it now? A year removed from their battle. 13 years removed from Good Kid, Mad City.